Welcome to Dauntless Digest. I'm Russell Toof from the Public Affairs Office at the 99th Regional Support Command at Joint Base McGuire-Dix-Lakehurst. Dauntless Digest is our quarterly look around the RSC. We get a member of the command staff and we discuss issues and concerns with them that are affecting soldiers and civilians throughout the RSC. Today I have our Command Sergeant Major with us, Command Sergeant Major Arlindo Almeida. Sergeant Major, thank you for taking a couple minutes of your time to come speak with me today.
It's a pleasure.
I want to start first with something that was just discussed during the most recent Battle Assembly weekend, personal military education. There's been changes to that program as of the beginning of this year with STEP, but from your perspective, where are things at? Where do you think we need to continue to develop?
I really think that PME, professional military education, is really the strength of our leadership skills and developing the future leader. As you said, with the STEP program, Select, Train, Educate, and Promote, which is a new promotion process taking effect on 1 January of this year, we still have a lot of soldiers that were promoted in the past years that still have not completed their primary military education, and could be an issue. And part of the problem, I think, is that we do have a lot of soldiers that are flags for height and weight and APFT, which they cannot attend, NCOES. And we also have soldiers that can't attend the PME because of the fact that they have not completed their proper SSD, the self-structured development course online.
Let's talk about readiness. This is something we hear not only within the RSC, this is coming all the way down from General Talley. We constantly hear about readiness, readiness, readiness. I've spoken to General Bohr about this several times, and she says, we're doing good, but we can do better. Again, your thoughts on that topic.
And she's right on the money. I mean, we always could do better, especially when it comes to individual readiness in reference to training. But for us to train, we're a well-trained force. I'm more concerned with the individual readiness of passing the APFT, meeting height and weight, getting medically ready, which we have some issues with some of our younger generation. So again, how do we move forward and help the command teams and the other commanders in our region to help them move forward and get that training for those soldiers? I
want to backstep just a second and go back to, on the topic of education, the Sergeant Major of the Army's new initiative, Not in My Squad. Sergeant Major, can you elaborate a little bit on what that actually is and what effect that's going to have on our soldiers and civilians?
Well, as you know, that we have an issue with sexual assault and harassment in the Army. Sergeant Major the Army Dailey has come up with a program, initiative on his own called Not on My Squad. What that means is that he is bringing the responsibility down to the lowest level of leadership and developing that new leadership, new leader that is going to be leading our force. And basically is telling the squad leader to say none of this sexual harassment or sexual assault or sexual harassment, whatever you want to call it, or we call it sharp, it's not going to happen in my squad. And there's a website that provides the squad leader with an evaluation of his or her own assessment as to find out if there's credibility within his or her squad. So Not in My Squad is a good initiative at the lowest level to fight sharp.
I've got one more here for you, Sergeant Major. We talked personally about this at the joint 99th 80th Training Command Best Warrior Competition, which was the lead into the USARC Best Warrior Competition, which we had not too long ago. And I know one of the things, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, correct me if I'm wrong, you were a little disappointed that the participation wasn't quite where you thought it should be. So what would you like to tell people throughout the command as we start looking ahead to next year's competition and the opportunity that an event like that brings?
Well, we have some great soldiers and NCOs in our press camp headquarters and in our bands. I believe that they're very well, and their technical skills are excellent. I just think that my goal is really to develop their technical side, which is getting them into competition with the best warrior competition, which provides that technical assistance. I was somewhat disappointed, but I wasn't disappointed. I would love to have more out there. I have challenged all the senior enlisted advisors for each organization that they need to provide more candidates for next year's event. And as far as I'm concerned, is that whoever comes and competes, they're already a winner. I mean, they're already a winner in their organization, and that the fact that they're willing to take the next individual responsibility or taking on a new leadership role in the sense of participating in this great competition. The other individual program that's available that a lot of soldiers are not familiar with, or they might be familiar with, and that is the Sergeant Artie Murphy Club, which is another prestige organization that it really distinguishes the top the echelon, and we call it, of our NCOs, and so I hope I see a lot more of them. And it was great to have 2 band members representing the 99th RSC at the Best Warrior Competition in USARC, and because, as I said earlier, we're all soldiers first.
Well, it's all tied to readiness. You know, it's not just readiness of the American forces, but also all those forces that we train and will most likely fight with in the future. You know, General Milley has said it himself, we're not going to fight a war on our own. We haven't in the past, and we won't in the future. And we've got to train together in order to be able to fight and bring the capability to any potential adversary. And it's also about presence. So it's about deterrence, assurance, and making sure that if called to action, we can defeat. We're assuring our allies, we're deterring any adversaries, and we're showing them that we are a capable force working together to be able to fight for a more prosperous world and bring peace and stability in the region throughout the United States and our fellow countries that are served out there across the world. The Army's about change. We've been changing for 241 years now. We used to roll sleeves, and then we didn't because there was a purpose behind that. But there's no deterrence for any soldier not to roll their sleeves, and allow the commanders to allow those soldiers to roll their sleeves. It's okay to have tattoos on your forearms. It's no big deal. We changed that policy just over a year ago, and want soldiers to know that, of course, there's times when sleeves need to be rolled, and then there's times when sleeves need to be down. And commanders need to have the authority to make that appropriate decision. But my message is to commanders out there, let your soldiers roll their sleeves. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anybody. We all wear short sleeve shirts when we're off duty, and that's why we have a short sleeve white shirt too, so it's just going to be just fine. And when it's time to roll them up, well then, roll them up. When it's time to roll them down in a field environment and training, or when safety requires us to have our sleeves down, soldiers have to understand that this appropriate things and commanders and actions they need to take in order to protect our soldiers and make them the most capable fighting force that we possibly can.